Okay friends, it's time to get started on our job. One of the first things we want to do is start taking off this door panel right across here. To do that, I'm going to come right up to this area right here with a plastic trim tool, and I'm going to carefully get in between and try to separate. There should be a push clip essentially right in this position. There we are, and we can carefully pull this off of here. Now we're going to start separating this wiring harness. I'm going to use a small pocket screwdriver, and the area that you want to try to get in between is the two parts to the wiring. So essentially I'm just going to get right underneath this lip, gently pry it apart, and then we'll separate the two. Once you have it apart, give it a quick inspection. If you see any funny colors, it's corrosion and it would need to be dealt with. This one looks fine, so I'll set it aside. Now let's make our way down to this bezel right here. For this, I'm going to continue with my plastic trim tool, and I essentially just want to get underneath one of the edges, and I'll start gently prying this. Now as I pry it, I'm also going to pull on this door handle a little bit, and I'll continue pulling it off. There's going to be several push clips behind here that you're essentially just going to need to pop free. There we are. I'll slide this off. There is going to be wiring behind this, so we're not going to go too far with it. To remove this electrical connector, we're going to come right over here with our small screwdriver, carefully lift up on this tab, and then we'll gently pry this off. Once again, we'll inspect that connector. If it looks good, set it aside. Behind that area, you're going to find a Phillips head screw. Go ahead and remove that screw. Let's move along to the window switch here. Carefully get underneath this area. We'll gently start pulling it up. Behind this, you're going to find another electrical connector. Let's go ahead and disconnect that as well. For this, you want to squeeze on this tab right here. Gently pull it up. Give it a quick inspection. Set it aside. Let's go ahead and start taking the panel off of the door now. Carefully get in between this area. Gently pry. Pull this right off of here. There we are. Have a quick look behind it. You can see that you still have a whole bunch of wiring that needs to be disconnected, but we're not worried about that. We're just going to go ahead and set this right down right here. Now that the panel's out of the way, we have a nice clear view of our inner door handle. For this, if you were to look right along the backside, you're going to find a 10mm headed bolt. Go ahead and remove that bolt. Now we're going to go ahead and grab onto this. We're going to give it a little wiggle, try to slide it towards the front of the vehicle here. Now that we have this nice and loose, let's carefully try getting this rod off of here. This is the rod that goes to your locking mechanism. Now to get this off, I'm just going to carefully try to pry in between these two areas and pull the rod right up and out. There's that rod. Now for this one right here, you're going to want to have a closer look at it because along the backside, you can see that it actually has a little bit of a hook to it, so it can't come straight up. Also, if you need a little bit more room, you can go ahead and pop them right out of this area right here. It's completely up to you. You shouldn't have to. So to get this out of here, we're just going to go ahead and start carefully turning this along the way as we lift it up. There it is, friends. Now it's time to install our inside door handle. To do this, we're going to start with the bottom rod, which is the one for the handle. It has the yellow marker on it. Let's go ahead and slide this right on through the hole. And press it into position. Just give that a quick inspection, make sure it's completely secured. Now we can move along to the locking mechanism here. Let's go ahead and slide that right into its corresponding hole. We'll slide it down. There we are. Now I'm going to get ready to push both my rods in here, assuming yours popped out. Just make sure they're reinstalled. Now we can start putting our door handle on here. Looking at the back side of it, you're going to see that you have a couple little hooky-doos that need to make their way into the holes that are on the door. Once we slide it forward, we'll press it in and then lock it by sliding it back. That should line up our mounting hole for our 10mm headed bolt. Go ahead and put that in. Make sure that's nice and tight. Give this a little wiggle to make sure it's completely secured. After that, let's just go ahead and push this back up and into position, and we can start installing our door panel. Now we're going to get ready to put our door panel back on here. I'm just going to go ahead and take these two wires and put them in the proper positions. For this one, which has the 90-degree bend, that's going to go up and through this top hole. This other one is going to go underneath through this area. Now you don't want to leave this hanging loose. This is actually supposed to be secured to this point right inside here. Now we're going to talk about how to get this door panel on. If I feel along this area here, I can feel a lip. That needs to fit up and over the door where it's going to mount. Also looking at this, you're going to find a whole bunch of little push tabs that need to press into the door. So of course you're going to want to make sure you have everything lined up, and then we'll go ahead and press it in. All right, let's go ahead and get this up here. You'll also notice that I have this other small wire for the speaker up here. Now I'm going to take it and go nice and high. Essentially, I want to make sure that that lip that I showed you on the door panel slides up and over this area of the door. Once it's up there, I'm going to go ahead and rest it down and in. Okay. Now the next thing that I always do is just have a look down along the side of the door panel. I'm trying to make sure all those pins are lined up with their corresponding holes. Once they are, we can go ahead and press this in. Okay, it's looking good. Now we can put in our Phillips head screw. Make sure that's nice and snug. Let's connect in our window switch. Give it a nice click, give it a tug. Now we're going to go ahead and slide this down and into position. Lock it in. Time for this bezel. We're going to reconnect our connector for this. Listen for a click, a little tug. Now there should be a couple different press in points. Should be one there as well. Pull this, slide this in, lock it. Now we can get this corner piece in here. Let's plug that in. A little click, give it a tug. I'm just going to take this, slide it down, bring this down and into position, and press it in. Okay, so at this point we got the car back together. What's left to do now? Now, of course, you're going to want to test it and make sure it functions properly. After that, go ahead and take it for a road test. Thanks for watching.